Hi and welcome back to chapter 12 of the MDriven education training. So this will be a little bit different because normally I do these by recording what I'm doing in real time, but I lost the audio on the recording that I did, so I'm going to try to repeat myself. I'm going to focus on the brand of car for this, and so we only have the Autoforms for a brand of car, so I'm gonna adopt that to make it our own, just to remember how we did that, renaming it to manage brand. And since the class action for this still has the name, the old name, so the action for bringing up the form had the same name as the form, which is generally a good idea, but now we want to change that to reflect the new name. We got some errors and we're gonna find out what they refer to. So this has to do with the when I adopted the form, it used the root object for jumping to this multi-link view, and it used this. So this button uses the form, and since we changed the name of the form, the implicit auto maintained variables, current variables, also got changed names. So what we would need to do is to update this name to manage brand instead. Current manage brand. But since we are redoing this, we don't really need this. I'm going to remove the widget. Removing the widget isn't enough because the widget actually, the button on the screen actually referred to an action. And how come I don't see that action? It's because it was opted out. So I can delete that action. I have another one, same general problem. Delete this. Yeah, I want to remove that action as well. I remove these because they really don't bring anything new to the table. So this is a class action. I can see that on brand of car, actions on class brand of cars. So that will show up in all the view models where this object will exist. So, and they are listed here. So I can see wherever this action will actually show up, and then I see in if they're opted in or out, since it will show up wherever the type matches. We need to have the ability to say that, well, the general rule is okay, but not in this case. So here it was opted out. So I can opt it in just by clicking that arrow, and then I see that it's checked in this list as well, so the manage brand, or I can check it out in this list and I can see that it will be opted out in the view. So these are interchangeable to see where class actions are actually in effect or will be shown to the user. So most of the places are in Autoforms, and maybe the Autoforms has played out their role at this point. So we're going to remove those a bit later on in this video. But what we wanted to do is to have a picture of the brand or an image. So I'm going to add a generic column, call that brand image. Self is a brand of car, but it doesn't have a attribute to store the image. But if it did, I will call it brand image. So I'm gonna just type that in and add new attribute, brand image. And I choose type blob, binary large object, so that can store any binary data. And I resize it. And maybe I don't want this header here for an image. It's a bit of too much information. When adding attributes that are of type blob, we have the option to say blob type. So refining what kind of binary data there is. So we're gonna say image on this one to help everyone understand what's the point of this one. Blob will be any type of binary data and not non-specific binary data. And then there are a few other options. So we're gonna go ahead and start the local prototyper for this. Yeah. So we still have the Autoforms for this. So I'm gonna manage brand was the one that I added now. Now I got an image widget here, and I can then upload an image to store. So the naming of the images here is only for my own benefit. Once I upload them to the database, the name has no meaning to me, and I can remove them from my local disk because they are now in the system as binary data. Need to log in for being able to go to the car seeker. And maybe I then want to add the brand image to this seeker. gonna add yet another view model to search for the brands, because I only had the Autoform generated one, and we're gonna remove the Autoforms. It's gonna do it slightly different this way to show you different approaches. Just copy the Seeker Autoform from UI first. I could equally have adopted the generated Autoform, but this is another way. This will seek on name and match name, and if there's no hits on name, it will show all instances, this other section of the Seeker. I'm gonna remove a few things. The brand image is there, good, I wanted that. And I can jump to manage brand, which is my new form for the brand, which has the, and this brand seeker, it will be, since it has no menu group, it will be in the top menu up here. So brand seeker is there. And now maybe I want to brand seeker to be after the car seeker in order. So then I would want to control this order in which the items show up. So now I can say the sort order within this group. So I'm going to put maybe an X in this one to make it really late. So now it jumps to the last one, but then I control the menu grouping thing. Maybe it should be even further to the side, and I can control that by going to the menu groups and say that menu group should then be even later, so Z maybe. So that's the way I can control the order of these. And now we have the Autoforms at the very top, but we're gonna wanna drop those soon. So now we have these columns that really doesn't bring any value currently. So that's more like it. So I can go into manage brand and see, possibly change the brand here. Now I had this shows this superclass, and that's an effect of that being a superclass matching everything. In order to clean this up, I think it's time to drop the Autoforms, and if we feel the need for them, we can always add them back at a later date. So drop Autoforms, and I can see that there's lots of view models disappearing. So the Autoform menu is gone, and all those forms are gone. Now I also see an effect that if there's only one action that navigates for a selected row in a grid, the application will jump on select rather on double click. That's an effect of there's only being one option. This is done this way to make it easier for a user to navigate your application on a phone or as a general rule, when there's one action that navigates, we will follow that immediately. But in this case, we had multiple actions. Okay, let's see. We're not able to change the brand in this view. So we can see wherever the brand of car is used. In the brand seeker we have it, and we have the brand image already, and manage brand we have the brand image, and proper car there we don't have the brand image, so maybe we want to add it to the proper car view. And I can follow brand of car to brand image like this. And then it collides with some different stuff, but if I put it over here, I'm gonna remove the presentation here as well. And checking if there are more places that would benefit from having the brand image. Well, the template, so this is the data that goes into the report that we created. So we probably want to have the image there as well. I'm going to show you that at a later date on how to actually show the image within the report, but for now we're going to add the data. So now it's 2 steps away, and there's no predefined menu action to add it. So I'm gonna add one way is to add a generic column and fill that in, or I can do this one, add column from model, in order to help me find things. Car transfer ownership document, and I'm gonna follow the this association to car, and from car I'm gonna follow to brand of car, and from brand of car I want the brand image. So just by clicking like this, I've built up the expression to take me to brand image. So I'm gonna pick that one, and then I have it done for me. I could just as well have just started from self and gone to car, and maybe it's hard to remember what things are called, and you can right click on something here and say give me the model, and then you see your own car and brand of car. That's the one I want. So that's one way to build up the expression as well. Now it won't be 100% correct in this context, but at least you will get the naming and the brand image. So now we have the data available in the report, but we haven't used it yet. So when I search for car, I only show the brand of car. So I'm gonna clean this up, not as string, it's the presentation, and we're gonna add the image. I was tricked into thinking that it was already shown. So now we got the images for the brand along with the in the car seeker. But this one didn't have a brand, and okay, apparently there's no way to actually set the brand now, since we remove the Autoforms. So let's look on how to fix that. We want to be able to set the brand. Let's see what happens if we do a the new car action from car seeker. It doesn't even bring up a view, so because that was probably an Autoform that we had set. So I'm gonna set that to proper car view. But in proper car view we have no way to actually set the brand of the car. So I'm going to make some room here by adding a row. And I'm going to go to add nested view model class and single link with setter. That's what we call the combo box, and we find brand of car. That's the one I want to set. You can do this all manually, but the widget, the fast functions for doing this via menu is practical, and they often do exactly what you want. So this we already showed the brand of car. This one was called brand of car 2. I'm going to call this brand of car for admin. Then we're going to change it so that only admin is able to set it. And in order to do that, I could do a visible expression for checking that the current user is admin. But I'm gonna do a read-only expression and to stop anyone besides admin to actually change it. And the pattern for this is the pattern that we used in the access groups, but in this case it's for a single column in a view model. Let's see if we can spell this right. It's singleton. So that's the class, and then we have the operator OCL singleton to actually get us the one instance. And from there we will find the logged in user named current user. And on that we can check if that's an admin or not. So since this is a read-only expression, I actually want it to be negated from this. I'm going to put not in front of it. So if you're not the admin, then read-only will be true. Read-only true means that you can't edit it. So having done that, we can search and check the proper car view. And now I can change because I'm logged in as a user, which probably then is admin. So I can set that one, but let's log out and log in as, yeah, okay, I can't even see it, so I'm gonna log in as the B user here. So the B user that we did in chapter 11 is not admin. So now it's read-only. You can't change it. But maybe he shouldn't even be able to see it. So then we can actually do a visible expression as well. But since these two often follow each other, negated. So read only is true if you're not allowed to change it, and visible should then be false if you're not allowed to see it. You can check this box, and that does exactly that. It negates the read-only expression and uses it as a visible expression. So in this case, the visible expression will be singleton, OCL singleton is admin. So now it's hidden from view if you're a B user, which is okay. Okay, so now we might have an issue with the B user being able to change the registration number, etc. So that's not very good. So the new car should probably have the access group is administrator, so that the B user can't even create a new car. That's the first thing. And since we removed the option, there's only one action left, so when the user selects one, it auto navigates. But once we are here, we can see that the B user is still able to change the registration number, and that's not good. So let's give that a think. This is a view that we actually want to show to the B user, but we don't want them to change anything. And of course we could take this expression and duplicate it on the registration number field, but that would be potentially a lot of work maintaining to going forward. So a better way is to on the whole form set a read-only expression. You could of course set an access group as well, but the access groups are more for if you can access the form altogether. And the read-only expression will handle if you are able to edit anything in it. So you can remove the read-only expression from this one. I'm gonna cut it out from there and paste it into the whole views read-only expression. So now the B user is not able to either edit the brand of the car nor the registration number. But if I'm an A user, I can both change the registration number and the brand of the car. And if I do, the image is updated. Yeah, good. So we will leave it there for now. What we have done is added the brand image with a blob type. Said that it was an image blob type. And we made sure that we show the image wherever the brand is available for in the views. And we also cleaned up the model by dropping all the Autoforms to have a bit of fewer things to worry about moving forward. So thank you.